for someone who's never heard of this before, what exactly is medical intuition and how different is it from traditional or even holistic medicine? Where we were talking, you mentioned that you can smell them. That stuck with me. And you teach others how to become medical intuitives. What does that process look like? I feel like it'd be so helpful as a mum to really know what's going on inside the whole family's body.
Yeah.
So I'd like to know how women can use the medical intuition to slow down premature aging, especially when it comes to their energy, hormones, and immune system. Would you say, from your perspective as a medical intuitive, there are some emotional or energetic imbalances that you commonly would show up around a woman's cycle or immune health? Welcome back to the Awakened Mumma Podcast, the space where we dive deep into the truths of wellness, womanhood, and living in full alignment. I'm your host, Crystal Rose, and today's episode is one I know you're going to love. We're exploring intuition, healing, and how to powerfully connect with your body on a deeper level. I'm honored to introduce today's guest, Paulina Leroy, PhD. She's a holistic health coach and medical intuitive, and her journey into this work is remarkable. While pursuing an academic career in economics, Paulina discovered her gift, the ability to see inside the body physically and emotionally. After losing her father to cancer, she committed to understanding the deeper causes of disease. Since 2012, she's been helping women restore their physical and mental health through a powerful mind, body, spirit approach. And now she teaches others how to develop this intuitive skill for themselves. I'm so excited to have you here, Paulina. Your story is incredibly inspiring, and I know it's going to deeply resonate with the women listening. Let's jump in.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk to you.
All right. So for someone who's never heard of this before, what exactly is medical intuition and how different is it from traditional or even holistic medicine?
I wouldn't be able to probably say for every medical intuitive. I can just share my experience. So my medical intuition works as, I go inside the body and I just sense the presence of certain things in the body, and it spreads from physical aspect, seeing presence of viruses and bacteria and some toxins, to emotional aspects. I sense the presence of certain feelings. Like sometimes I can feel like certain like heavy feelings, I would say, right? Because usually those are feelings that we call negative. I don't like calling them negative because I think they all play an important role in our life, but they definitely have a heavy energy. And when those feelings being stuck in the body for a long time, they can definitely make organs vulnerable. And so when I sense the presence of those feelings, I think it's important to bring it, up to conversation and discuss with my clients. What are those feelings? What do they mean to you? What are they about? Yeah.
Okay.
So it's about physical aspect and emotional aspect in the body. And I use all my senses. I usually, to simplify, I say that I see things inside the body, but if I being specific, I can see them, I can sense them, I can hear them. So I use all my senses.
Yeah. And when we were talking, you mentioned that you can smell them. That stuck with me. And you teach others how to become medical intuitives. What does that process look like? And who do you feel this path is ideally for?
I think it can be for everyone, but like any skill, being a medical intuitive, it requires practice. And I think you have to be really committed to learning this skill and learning about the body. And so I usually work with healers who are already on the path as healers, and they work within several modalities, and they want to develop those skills. They want to develop the ability to work with different conditions, different diseases, and they want to become better at this. And so with them, we usually will start learning about anatomy. We learn about basic anatomy of the body, different systems of the body. And then I teach them about how you can see it inside the body, what's the best way to approach this system, and also what kind of feelings can be associated with this system, or what kind of beliefs can be associated with the system, and what kind of most common conditions you can see there, what are the root causes, because sometimes you can see, for example, hormonal imbalance, right, which is endocrine system, but the root cause can be actually in the liver, right? And so I actually teach them how to see interconnectedness within the body. And I'm so proud of my students. Usually we practice a lot. We have a lot of volunteers during our class, and they scan, I would say, 2-3 volunteers each day. And by the end of 3 weeks, they become really good at doing those things.
That's really good. So first off, having a strong sense of intuition would be helpful. Do you believe every woman has the ability to tune in to their own body this way, or other people's? And what's a powerful place to start building that connection?
I think I like your question. Actually, I think everyone can do it, male and female. But I personally think that women kind of more natural in this. I have more women come into my classes, and it takes less. They have less resistance to this.
Would you say that that's the difference between men and women, because women are naturally more intuitive, and that
I think so.
Yeah.
I think they're more open-minded. They don't have that mind that requires logic.
Yes.
Yeah. They're easier to step into this flow and, okay, we'll just go with it.
I find it so interesting because I feel like it'd be so helpful as a mum to really know what's going on inside the whole family's body.
Yeah.
So I'd like to know how women can use the medical intuition to slow down premature aging, especially when it comes to their energy, hormones, and immune system.
Right.
Because we're not getting any younger, and I'm in perimenopause over here, so that's that's a hot topic.
Yes, it is. I think it's so important because, premature aging, I think is unfortunately so common. I believe our bodies have actually potential to live up to 130, definitely 130 years old. And the norm that we have, unfortunately, it's very sad, but it's due to our lifestyle and environment that we live in. And so I think the best thing we can do is to support our bodies how to adapt to this lifestyle. And that would be supporting the liver most of all, because the liver is the organ that's responsible. That's, I would say, the main filter of the body. And so taking care of the liver will help you to adapt to these high levels of environmental toxins that we have, unfortunately. And it will also help you to slow down aging process, because the liver is the organ that's responsible for aging.
When you work with clients, you put them through a strict diet to do a cleanse or a detox. Yeah. Speak us through your process there.
I think like most clients hate me for that. When I give them this protocol, they're like, oh my God. But then once they're on the other side, they actually love it.
Yeah. Who doesn't love the feeling of all the toxins being flushed out and feeling good in your body again?
Yeah. It's actually amazing how quickly body can change. It always amazes me how responsive our bodies are. Like you can see changes even after 1 week, but I usually recommend to my clients to stick to the routine for 30 days. And after 30 days, my God, what a difference it makes. Just giving your body what it needs, addressing its needs. It's amazing. It's amazing. Just 30 days and your body become completely different. And a lot of my clients actually heal chronic conditions after 30 days, like within 30 days. Within 30 days, you can reverse your diabetes type 2. You can reverse your hypertension. You can get rid of cysts and fibroids, and so many things can be changed just 30 days. Not to mention you can, restore your digestive system and lose weight, all of that. So what I do is when I usually go through the body, I can actually sense the organs and I can hear what kind of fruits or vegetables would be useful for them. Sometimes I can see images of certain products that will be beneficial for this particular organ or for this particular organ. I can hear the organ is asking, give me some oranges, please. Like, we would love some oranges, please. Or sometimes it can be like adrenal glands want some asparagus, things like that. And so I pick up those energies and I try to implement them in the protocol to give as lots as possible fruits and vegetables and leafy greens.
I'm about to do a detox. It's within the program that I'm in. I think I mentioned to you that I take nutrition support, and much along the same lines of what you're saying. Like, it's the most researched nutraceutical on the market globally. So I know that it's doing what it's meant to on a cellular level in my body. Mm-hmm. And that comes with the option to do a detox as part of the program, and there's like between 5 and 800 people usually every month doing it, and it goes for 10 days. And I haven't done this one before because I was breastfeeding. And when I finished, I started with the high protein detox, which is done in sync with your own cycle. This one happens to fall at the right time in my cycle. So I was like, I'm going to do it because the other one is individual and you do it on your own time. And this one is with hundreds of other people. So I'm like, I'm really excited. 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. And I can
Yeah.
imagine, I know what your clients would be going through, because I could actually feel the toxins and the heavy metals, everything. When I did my first detox, we're always exposed to environmental toxins and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
That's
it's
one
so
of your
important.
protocols. Yeah. Would you say, from your perspective as a medical intuitive, there are some emotional or energetic imbalances that you commonly would show up around a woman's cycle or immune health?
I usually looking into cycle. Usually, the moodiness that we might experience is associated with the overloaded stagnant liver, because the fluctuations of mood, it is associated with hormones, but the liver is the organ that's responsible for balancing hormones and absorbing all hormones that too much in the system, right? The liver is supposed to remove them. But if the liver is overloaded and stagnant, then it cannot do it in time, or cannot remove as much hormones as possible. And that's where we can have moodiness, or we can feel suddenly, this mood swings, or we can feel bloating, or we can feel that we're getting kind of, bloated or swollen. The many women say that they feel sometimes like tender breasts, and all of these PMS kind of symptoms that unfortunately I think they tie to a stagnant liver, because I used to have those problems. And when I started actually taking care of my liver, I could see that all these symptoms, they actually, went away pretty quickly.
So is there a correlation between our cycle and getting sick at certain times of the month, our immune system health?
Yeah, absolutely. What I think many women don't understand is that when we have an ovulation and when we have a menstruation, our immune system actually is prioritizing our reproductive system. So most of our immune cells will be drawn to the reproductive system to protect it, to take care of it, to make sure that there's no inflammation, there's no infection, and the rest of the body is left unprotected, and it gives chance to viruses and bacteria to take over. That is why sometimes women can experience acne during periods. While certain experts say that it is a hormonal acne, it is such a, I think, misconception, because it's not hormonal. It's caused by bacteria that is right now kind of out and about, and it's causing all sorts of problems in the body, while immune system is protecting reproductive system. And so we can have acne on our face, we can have acne on our neck and back. Sometimes women can experience herpes virus breakouts, usually around cycle as well, right around periods. Sometimes women can experience bloating, which is again usually bacterial overgrowth. So all these symptoms that are usually, or low back pain, lower back, it's actually low-grade viral infection. And so many women who experience those symptoms and they think, oh, it is hormonal. It's actually not hormonal. It is because of the immune system being low and low-grade viral and bacterial infections, getting out of control.
That's really interesting. And so having that detox and that strict diet, flushing the liver out so that there's not that overload, helps with when you're having that cyclic, whatever it is showing up for people, whether it's getting sick, whether it's getting herpes or that sort of thing.
I think it definitely can help. There's a correlation between those things in a way that overloaded stagnant liver that cannot pick up and filter out all the toxins out of the bloodstream can definitely slow down immune system, right? It makes the work of immune system more difficult, because toxins that are present in the bloodstream can literally like poison, intoxicate immune cells. So they become less active and less strong. So when you take care of your liver, you can indirectly also support your immune system. There are other ways to support immune system, right? By just eating healthy, clean foods, eating lots of vegetables like, I don't know, let's say potato is antiviral, or we can talk about garlic, onion, right? Those are very good antiviral tools that we can definitely use to support our immune system. Bring in lots of lemons, oranges, grapefruit is also supporting the immune system with the vitamin C. Lots of tomatoes, peppers, they have high levels of vitamin C. So supporting the immune system with vitamin C, antiviral, that definitely will have an effect on more direct effect on immune system rather than taking care of the liver. But both of those approaches great to support immune system.
So when you do the scan, like you said, there'll be certain things that'll pop up like oranges, and you use that as a basis to go by, okay, well, what's wrong in the body, what's showing up, and then whatever signs that you're getting to then create that diet so that everybody's approach is an individualized approach. So everybody's strict diet looks different, to have like, you need to incorporate more of this and you need to incorporate more of that, or cut out.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect. And when do people usually start to see the results of like when you're working with them? Is it different for everybody?
Yes, it is different for everybody. It's funny how sometimes I see certain results in me and I expect people to have the same timeline, but it's not the same for everyone. Yes, I think the body is different and response is very different as well. And the way I tell my clients and my students is that healing is guaranteed. Timeline is optional. It varies. It's it from one person to another can be unpredictable, but what I know for sure is that my people will see results within 1 to 3 months. They will see, I would say, improvement, and that definitely happens. How big improvement will be, hard to say. Some people will get rid of cancer completely within 3 months. Some people will see just a little bit, improvement within 3 months. But I think it also, the body kind of accumulates certain things. And when the more you take care of the liver, the more you support immune system. Sometimes you don't see improvement for 4-8 weeks, and then suddenly you can see the tumor can shrink very quickly within a week, or you stop having bloating, or you stop having migraines. It depends, really. Hard to predict, but I know I can guarantee results within 1 to 3 months.
And can you share with us a highlight of one of your transformations of what a client was going through before they came to you, and then at the end of working with them? I'd love to be able to just hear something that stood out to you.
Well, I think my recent clients, all the best, because maybe they're just closest to me right now. But I remember one client who had breast cancer, and her breast cancer was stage 3. And she told me that she knew if she would take conventional route, she would be gone. But after working with me, her tumor, kind of shrank pretty quickly within 3 months. And then it took another probably like 15 to 20 days to see it being gone completely. And so that's pretty amazing. But also I can see that emotional aspect of healing, how it plays a role as well, when I can sense big emotional transformation or release. When I see that my client was able to release some resentment, or like a long stored resentment or hatred, I know there will be shift in the physical aspect of the body, because they interconnected those things. So that's great as well. My recent client was with thyroid cancer, and her tumor went from 4 centimeters to 0.8 within 3 months. But it will also work because it's a thyroid. As you can imagine, we had to work on her ability to speak up, to share her truth. Unfortunately, I can see this problem in a lot of women. A lot of women feel that, oh, there's nothing important for me to share, or nobody wants to hear me, what I have to say, right? We have this pattern learned from our childhood that what I have to say is not important. Nobody wants to hear me. I think especially in patriarchal society, we bring it into our adulthood, and we believe that, well, we have to be pretty, but nobody actually cares about what we have to say. And it shows in thyroid. Many women have a thyroid autoimmune conditions. Hashimoto thyroiditis, very common, unfortunately. And I think it's rooted in our inability to share our truth. but also low-grade viral infections.
I can relate to what you're saying there. I was in a toxic relationship since I was 15, and I was in that relationship for 26 years. I felt like I had no voice. I have this podcast, it's because I found my voice. And what I say a lot at the end of my episodes is your voice matters here. Because mine didn't. And I love that I've been able to find my voice, and I want to create this space for people to be able to have that.
Beautiful. Thank you.
So I love this. I just find that this piece in me that's like so drawn to want to know, because I'm intuitive with myself now that I've got back in touch with who I really am, who I always was, but hid from the world. But when I was pregnant with the twins and I could get in touch with my own intuition and my own spirituality, I knew what they looked like. I knew that their archetypes. I said I was going to have a little girl that she was going to be with dark features like me, and Ocean was going to have red hair and blue eyes. They do. He's a little dad. He's his little dad's Minnie, and she's my Minnie. And the archetypes, I was right. He's a lover through and through. She is that fiery little energy. She's a warrioress. And so
that's beautiful.
Yeah, when I went through my pregnancy and all the scare tactics that the hospital was trying to give me, to going to labor early and to be induced and all of that. And if I had have listened to them, I'll just say they would have ended up in NICU, because they were only small, and I let them grow until they were ready, which was full term. And then they decided they were big enough and ready to come out, and they were just big enough that they didn't need an ICU. But I listened to my body. I checked in. Are you guys okay? So this mother in me is so drawn to listen to what you've got to say and how this can help mothers, because it's not a healthcare system. It's a sick care system. We're not treated for health and optimal health and vitality. If I was to get sick, I'd have to wait at least a month to be able to get an appointment. And so if we could cut out the simple reasons we go to the doctor for illnesses and things like that, and we could tune in and just like check in with our families, like what a beautiful, powerful tool that would be to have.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And that's what I want for women in the world, because I honestly believe the doctors that we go to can be so misleading to us. I think what I want for my community, at least, to teach them how to listen to your body, so you don't have to rely on doctor's opinion. You don't have to rely on experts, like external opinion. Tune into your body and see what your body needs. I think every woman can do it. And that's what I teach my clients how to do. Connect to your body and see what your body needs, what you can give to your body. I'm sure we all can develop this skill. Just close your eyes, put your hands on your belly, and tune into your internal organs and see what they need. And whenever you have symptoms, some kind of symptom that bothers you, you can again sit down, spend some time in stillness, quiet your mind, and tune into your body, what's happening there, and what does your body need right now in order to address this symptom. Because I think symptoms are, it's the way our body communicates to us about the problems, and the faster we respond to those symptoms, the faster we can see results. Like, for example, in my case right now, I know as soon as I, see first signs of certain symptoms showing up, I can address it immediately and it will be gone within a few hours. I used to have a chronic lower back pain, which is caused by a low-grade viral infection, and I didn't know that, so I would suffer for weeks from a low back pain. I remember even spending 2 weeks in the hospital after my father died, right? Because I felt like, which if you know the connection, right, there is a connection, because when we lose our parents, we lose support. And so my back pretty much collapsed. And I spent in the hospital 2 weeks. They were telling me, you're so young. Why do you have, protrusions in your back? And I'm like, I don't know. But now I know what was happening. I know that is a low-grade viral infection that was affecting my back and causing inflammation in this area. And right now, I know if I will get off my protocol and my diet, and I will eat something that I shouldn't, that will feed low-grade viral infection, within a couple of days, I will develop those symptoms again. But at least I'm listening to my body. And if I hear my body developing lower back pain, I can, back up on the foods that I'm not supposed to eat, like gluten. Gluten, for example, will cause lower back pain for me. So if I eat some gluten, I know I will develop lower back pain. And if I feel, okay, my back pain is here. What can I do right now? And I will take some supplements. I would add some antiviral foods, and it will be gone within a few hours.
Do you think the link with gluten is the gluten itself, or do you think that it's all, most of the products that have gluten in it are heavily sprayed with
Glyphosate?
glyphosate?
No, I
All
think
of
it's
the
gluten
process.
itself. It's very simple, actually, what I learned to believe. The viruses and bacteria in our body, they were raised in our society, and they tend to like foods that we like as well. And it takes time for me to have a discernment what kind of viruses like what kind of food, because they have a different preferences. So there are certain viruses that would like more gluten. There are certain viruses that would like more dairy, certain viruses that would like more eggs. Most of them would like eggs, actually. But there are certain viruses that will thrive in my body, for example, on chocolate. And I had to admit it, that if I eat chocolate, I develop certain symptoms, right? I had to be a very patient observer and to see this correlation. And so when I stopped eating chocolate, I stopped having this viral condition that I had. I love chocolate too, but I don't like being sick. So I had this canker sores, that was caused, definitely, I know it was caused by chocolate. And so whenever I would eat chocolate, I would develop canker sore. And it was horrible.
So is it
and
the nasties that's in chocolate, or the high sugar that's in chocolate?
no,
Or have
it's
you done
chocolate itself.
the pure chocolate and not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the chocolate itself, and the same is gluten itself, because the viruses that grow in our bodies and they spread, they learn from host, and they tend to adapt to the foods that host is giving them. Not to mention that a lot of viruses were raised in the labs, and the things they're fed in the labs, that's what they like to eat. They were fed dairy proteins, they were fed eggs protein, right? Egg protein is one of the common forms of protein that scientists like to use in the labs, and nobody's even hiding this fact. It is a scientific fact that they use egg protein to feed viruses and bacteria in the lab. And so when we get those bags in our bodies, they like to eat the same things.
I want to circle back to protein, because you've mentioned it again. With protein, the same as what we were saying there with the gluten and the chocolate. Is it the type of protein that people are eating that is not a quality protein? If it's quality protein and it's a clean diet. I ask this because I balance my hormones with a high protein diet. It's the program that I'm in, and it is based on the scientific research, and that's entering perimenopause. So it was a big thing for me. One of my transformations through perimenopause is that I was able to balance that through that, and lost kilos effortlessly. I was actually just trying it because I'd just come back from a trip away. So I had some travel kilos on me, and I was like, well, I'll just give it a go. I'll see how this feels. And yeah, really quickly, just the travel kilos came off, which I was quite happy about. But it was that balance of my hormones that I was most happy about. So that's why I want to ask, is it because I don't eat meat, I do eat fish that's fresh caught fish. It's not farmed fish because my husband's a fisherman. So we eat quality protein, and a lot of it is plant-based protein. And that's where my questioning around proteins, can you speak into that?
Yeah, in my experience, yes, definitely quality of protein matters. Let's say animal protein would be my least favorite, because animal protein is usually harder to break down. That's what I'm picking up from the bodies, that it takes...
Is it 7 years or something you eat meat and it can stay in your body for? Something like that?
Oh, it can stay in the body for years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's at least what I see, and that's what I smell, right? Remember I mentioned, when I go through the body, I can smell undigested protein that been stuck in the digestive system for years, and it doesn't smell good. I mean, it rots. And so I think it depends on how much hydrochloric acid you have in your stomach, right? Your stomach's ability to produce hydrochloric acid, how quickly it can recover. It takes the biggest amount of hydrochloric acid to break down animal protein. So that's the problem. With meat, I would say more than with the fish, but still, animal protein will take more time to break down and will exhaust reserves of hydrochloric acid. Now, again, it's all very individual, because maybe your stomach is in okay shape and it has good levels, good reserves of hydrochloric acid, and you can deal with this protein. Now, many women, unfortunately, in their 40s and 50s don't have good reserves of hydrochloric acid. And so when they increase the amount of protein they eat, they will, use all this hydrochloric acid. And then what happens is that those undigested protein will start accumulating in the intestinal tract, causing more inflammation, because when we have those undigested debris, it's a perfect feeding ground for viruses and bacteria. Okay. They like to stay there and cause problems. Another, I think, good indicator of how's your digestive system doing is your teeth. Like every, I think, listener right now can check how my teeth doing. Do I have cavities? Why do you think those cavities are there? Because of ammonia gas that actually comes from digestive system when we sleep, right? It all comes from undigested rotten protein and ammonia and acidity that usually is a result of feeding bacteria in the intestinal tract. The acidity goes up and it ends up in our mouth, dissolving our teeth. Right? So it's not the sugar we eat. It's less of a concern. It's more what's happening in your digestive system, in your intestinal tract, in your stomach, because I think when people have problems with teeth and gums, when they come to me, I tell them always, remember that your mouth is part of the digestive system. And so your teeth quality and your gums quality will reflect what's happening in your digestive system. Now, if you don't have any problems with your teeth, then your digestive system is probably doing okay, and you can eat protein you want, as much protein as you want. But even if we talk about protein like beans, like many, or tofu that vegans like, it's still protein, and you still might not have enough hydrochloric acid to break down this protein, and you might not have enough digestive enzymes to take care of this protein. And even this kind of protein can cause constipation, can cause bloating, and can slow down detox for the whole body. So personally, when I look into protein, and I like to weight lift, I like to do, strength training for myself, and I like to recommend it to my clients. I think it's important for midlife. But you can focus on, let's say, asparagus has high levels of protein. You can focus on spinach, or other leafy greens have high levels of protein in them. You can focus on broccoli, Brussels sprouts. They all have high levels of protein. Peas. Those are all great sources of protein. Fish would be my concern in terms of toxic heavy metals. You want to choose the fish that use the lowest levels of toxic heavy metals. So that would be my concern with fish.
Okay. So what I'm picking up there is that I had good results because the nutrition support that I use is the fruits and vegetables are great for digestive health and immune health. Mm-hmm. And so because I've been on that for 7.5 years, well before I did any kind of detox, I had myself covered there with supporting my digestive system.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I suppose the detox, would that have a part in flushing out unwanted or buildup of past proteins or whatever?
Yes. I would say the one way you can do it and probably expect to be safe in this area is that if you also balance your protein that you eat, like fish, for example, with like high levels of fiber in terms of lots of leafy greens, lots of vegetables like asparagus, Brussels sprouts, because those are the vegetables that will go through your body and actually cleanse intestinal tract. Right? Because if you bring lots of lettuce, lots of spinach, arugula, they all go through the intestinal tract and they cleanse it.
Yeah.
And so that would be a way to balance it.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Just checking in there because we do eat fish, but we don't eat it every day.
Yeah. What I know about protein, not high protein diet, I would say like high protein diet, carnivore diet, what I see in them is that when usually people get on these kind of diets, they don't eat inflammatory foods, what I call them, right? And because they lower the inflammatory foods, they can feel better. They can feel improvement, right? Because of that. And also because it can be balanced with lots of, fiber. But do you know how quick you would see those results if you would focus solely on fruits and vegetables?
We don't have fish every night. So, and the recipes that I use in the detox or the lifestyle programs is eating that rainbow, and the anti-inflammatory have been taking the berries and omegas for the past 7.5 years too. this bridges the gap between what I wouldn't be getting in my diet. So because every day we can't be perfect in what we're eating, and the nutrition, it's not in the food like it used to be. The soils are depleted. So yeah, we're taking that extra step to really are nourishing our bodies, because they work on a cellular level and they're bioavailable. So your body does recognize it as food.
Yes, usually you will see improvement because the inflammation will be down. Inflammation will go down because you don't feed pathogens in your body. You don't feed bacteria and viruses with gluten and dairy and things like that. But at the same time, like stomach and digestive system had its limits. Your liver has its limits. And depending on a person, it will hit those limits and you will see. What's important, I think, is to understand that even if you felt better with high protein diet, it doesn't mean that it's your only way. You can try just focusing on fruits and vegetables or prioritizing a lower fat diet, and you can feel better as well. Maybe even more, So, and like losing weight I usually say in my clients, there's so many ways how you can lose weight. So many ways. You can get on a wine chocolate diet and I'm sure you will lose weight. Is it going to be healthy for your body? You can lose weight on a keto diet. I know many people do. Is it healthy long term? Right. So
I have that conversation with people too who focus on just the calorie deficit, which all calories are not created equal. And that's when the yo-yo dieting and the weight comes back on. It's not sustainable. You're doing damage to your metabolic system. And then when you do get older, that's when your insulin resistance comes in.
Exactly. Insulin resistance, it's overloaded stagnant liver as well. Calories, I mean, they give you some information, I think, but at the same time, calories definitely not equal, as you said. And if you take most of your calories as fats and proteins, you're definitely not feeding your body's needs, because body needs glucose. And over time, it's going to overload digestive system, metabolic system, and you're going to have problems like diabetes. You're going to have problems like, all sorts of digestive issues can be developed if you overload in your liver.
And fiber is such an important under-eaten source of nutrients too, that a lot of women or people aren't focusing on, is that fiber, and completely miss the mark on that. So yeah, while protein isn't the only thing, that we make sure that we know what protein that we're eating, and then it's fiber as well, because fiber is hugely important to be able to have that digestive health. And I think that people get confused about what kind of fiber that they should be eating. You have a freebie that people can access.
Yes, I have a midlife body guide that I offer to every woman as a gift from what I learned, for over years. I think just understanding what's happening in the body is so important, because it explains exactly the process, what I call liver cascade. I think liver is one of the most important organs in the body, honestly, especially for us women who want to slow down aging. Liver is most important organ, and understanding what's happening in the body, what's happening to the liver, and how it plays out in other systems like hormones, digestive system, circulatory system, nervous system as well. I think it's important to understand that what you can do to your body, how you can support your liver in order to not having common midlife symptoms, not having completely avoiding common perimenopause symptoms like weight gain, let's say inflammatory symptoms like joint pain or migraines or mood swings, depression, anxiety. Even I saw some people, some experts actually tying itchy ears to perimenopause symptoms. I mean, come on, itchy ears as a perimenopause symptom? All those symptoms stay inflammatory, right? There's a reason why we have inflammation in the body and how it can be addressed. So knowing what's actually happening in midlife body and how it can be fixed, even without, scheduling a session with me, you can definitely address all those symptoms by yourself just by taking information from this guide.
I have an interesting question. Have you ever seen parasites when you've done a body scan?
Yes. Yeah, I do see them.
Where do you see them? Do you see them in the liver? Have you seen ones that are in the muscle tissue? And
Yes, they can be anywhere actually. Parasites can be seen in the intestinal tract, right? Most commonly, I would say in the intestines. They can be seen in the liver. They can be seen in the tissue, like a muscle tissue. I can see them sometimes in the skin. Parasites can be in the skin as well.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. They can be everywhere. They can be in your
yeah,
brain, in your eyes, your
yeah.
nose. Yeah. Okay. So then, do you recommend a different protocol
Yeah,
when
for
there's
parasites,
parasites?
yeah, yeah. There's a protocol for parasites. I would say my usually the biggest problem for many women is still viral infections. Yeah, more women have problems caused by viral infections.
What I know about parasites is that they're feeding off our nutrients and they get like 90% of our nutrients.
Hmm.
And if your body is trying to heal something, say a viral infection or any kind of infection that you get in your body, it's going to be a lot harder. So would you, if they're coming up with something they're continually not being able to heal from, would you recommend that they get rid of the parasites first before you continue with the protocols that you would put in place?
If we see parasites, yes, yes. If we see parasites and they, active present, definitely we should take care of them. Yeah, no, definitely. If I see parasites and like they're pretty bad, definitely we have a protocol that will take care of it. But bringing lots of garlic, just bringing garlic on a regular basis into your diet will take care of a lot of them.
And I know that there is lots of other things that you can eat that are helpful. Uh,
Garlic,
like
I would say papaya seeds.
yeah,
Papaya
yeah.
seeds
I've put them in my smoothie before because we have a tree, and
mm,
the twins don't notice too when it's in their smoothie.
a bit peppery. They're a little peppery. You can like depending, I guess, how
Oh,
much you put, but I can feel them. I
yeah.
can taste them.
With if you're just putting a teaspoon or something like that in, and
Hmm.
because our protein powder, it's plant-based and there's no nasty, so they love it. And it is just makes it really creamy and yummy. And you don't notice when you sneak things like that in. You just see the black bits of ground up seeds. They're so small. They're used to seeing like whether it's dragon fruit and there'll be like little black bits or berries, and
Hmm.
they don't question it. They
I
taste
know.
good. Okay, well, let us know where your platforms are so that people can head on over to you.
You can contact me through Instagram and Facebook. I'm usually on Instagram, so that's the best way probably to see what I'm sharing and also contact me.
I will put all of your details below for people to be able to reach out to you. And do you have any other messages or tips that you would like to share with us today?
As I said, just probably believe in your body and believe in your ability to listen to your body. I think that's important. I think every one of us can do it. And I think the future is not in us relying on government taking care of our health, but in us reconnecting to our bodies and learning about bodies and how to take care of them. Because, healthy people are not people who go to doctors. Healthy people who take care of the bodies in the kitchens, that's who are healthy. So we cannot rely on healthcare system, we cannot rely on government, we have to rely on ourselves. That's what I believe in, and I think every woman can do it.
Absolutely. Just getting that someone who can support you and guide you because in this day and age, there are a lot of people who are feeling lost and don't really know what steps to take to be able to look after their health and
Mm-hmm.
aim for that optimal health and vitality. And yeah, if you're going to the doctors constantly, and well, I believe that they absolutely have their place. I go to the doctor to get my blood tests and say, what can we test for now? Because I want to make sure that I am optimal. So I have done the comprehensive DNA testing. I look at what my DNA actually needs. I look at what my levels are. And so that's kind of where I use the medical system.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it has its place for people. But to have 10 minutes with your GP for a regular appointment, they have this process that they have to follow, stay in the box, and that is you come to me with this problem and I can prescribe you this. And so that's really what you're getting out of it. And if you're going there for prescriptions and you want to sort of get that optimal health, then absolutely it starts in the kitchen and taking care of your body to heal whatever's going on in there. So thank you for today and sharing
Thank
all
you.
of your wisdom and teaching us all about what you do. It's fascinating to me. It's something I definitely think that probably looking at leaning into, I think that the best way that we can support our families is by really knowing what's going on the inside.
Totally, I agree with you. I'm a mom, so I know what you mean. You always want the best for your children, and I'm looking at my daughter now. Okay, here's her liver becomes a little bit overloaded. How can we support her liver? Because you can see sometimes like red cheeks can be a sign of overloaded liver, and so okay, liver needs a break. So okay, we can lower some fats for a few days and see it's getting better.
Yeah. Okay, that brings me to another question as we're wrapping up. So I know that on the cheeks, the dots, the little spots, and on the back of the arms can be a sign of parasites. And as we know, parasites can live in your liver. Would that be something that you'd be looking at? Like if it was someone that came to you that had the spots, would you be checking their liver for parasites and saying, well, let's cleanse?
I actually believe that when we talk about like keratosis pilaris, those kind of bumpy skin, that is a sign of high protein diet. It's a sign that body's having too much protein diet, and the best way to treat it is to lower protein and bring more fiber, and also aloe vera is the best way to address it. In my experience, aloe vera is really helpful with this.
And is that for the ones that you see on people's face as well as on the back of their arms?
Yes.
Okay. Because I saw something on the internet. So
yeah, there's a lot of misinformation, and I know it can be so confusing to see what's this one expert says this is what's causing it and this is what should be done. For example, rosacea. I've seen some posts saying that rosacea, like a red, rosacea is different from just having rosy cheeks, right? Rosacea is usually some redness that stays like constantly kind of there. And I saw that rosacea is caused by parasites. No, rosacea is a low-grade viral infection, but also high levels of mercury. And so mercury plus viral activity, that's what creates rosacea. It's not parasites. So yeah, I know it can be confusing.
So that explains. I know that in the detox, I've seen people having results with rosacea. It's the nutrition support we use in doing a detox, putting the good stuff in and flushing the bad stuff out, and then they're noticing that clear. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for clearing that up.
You're welcome.
As things pop up, I'm like, well, I'm sure if I've seen it, somebody else has seen it, and they might have the same questions. So
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much for your time today. And I want to know if anyone has any questions, pop them below, or if you have a takeaway that you have learnt from today, maybe you're fired up to be able to tune into your own intuition and practice this yourself. I would love to know. I'm gonna try tuning into my body and see what comes up. I've done it before, like I said, the babies, they were other humans in me that I was tuning into. Watch this space. I might be in touch.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been my pleasure to talk to you about those things.
Thank you. Thanks for being here, beautiful souls. The Awakened Mumma Podcast is a special place for us to grow, heal, and rise together because you're never alone on this journey. I'd love to connect with you, so don't be shy. Please comment below your takeaways and let us build this empowered community. Remember to hit like, hit subscribe, and join me every Sunday at 2:22 Angel Numbers for more conversations to support your wellness, wholeness, and awakening. I'm truly grateful you're here.